The Big Bang Theory had so many memorable moments, and like everyone else, the show's cast have their own scenes they remember fondly. Which scene made Kaley Cuoco and Johnny Galecki fall in love with each other? What challenge did Mayim Bialik face while filming the wedding episode? And why did Jim Parsons like shooting scenes with a bird? Johnny Galecki. When the actor was asked about his favorite moment, he had trouble choosing one.
Very difficult because they all kind of melt into one experience or one memory.
But Johnny eventually said there was a scene he loved most of all. It was the one where Penny says "I love you" to Leonard for the first time. And recently, in a joint interview with Cuoco, the actor also shared a moment that he certainly remembered very well. Because it was the scene that made Johnny and Kaley fall in love with each other. It happened while filming the Nerdvana Annihilation in Season 1. Leonard had a dream where he saved Penny in the elevator shaft. During the scene, the two stood nose to nose with their bodies intertwined. The most exciting thing is that both actors actually had a crush on each other back then. So it was hard for Johnny and Kaley to fight their feelings while shooting. That became the moment they realized it was more than a crush, and they couldn't hide it from each other any longer. It was going to be more of a distraction from the work to try and continue to ignore it than to actually recognize it and surrender to it, Johnny said. It's a pity that their relationship ended, but it also served as a foundation for their strong friendship that lasts to this day. But actually, Galecki's co-star had more to say about that memorable scene. Kaley Cuoco. Although that elevator moment led to the beginning of their relationship, it wasn't pleasant for her to film it. Kaley was worried her feelings for Johnny would be really obvious. Even her cheeks were red because she was so close to Johnny. I was super nervous and kept thinking, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But she did, however, enjoy being close to another cast member, because Kaley's favorite moment from the show was the scene where Sheldon hugs Penny for the first time after they exchange Christmas gifts. Besides that, the actress loved the episode Adhesive Duct Deficiency, where Penny slips in the bathroom and dislocates her shoulder, and Sheldon has to take her to the hospital. Kaley shared that she and Jim laughed a lot while shooting the scene where he helps her get dressed, and we can get why. The actress also has another favorite episode, The Scavenger Vortex from Season 7. Kaley loved that the entire cast was involved in one hilarious activity, and many of her co-stars agreed.
Was one of the most fun to shoot. We laughed the entire way through it to the point we were in tears. We were laughing so hard.
And here's more from the actress who played Bernadette, Melissa Rauch. Being quite a sweet woman in real life, she had a lot of fun playing her character's bold side.
I would describe Bernadette as a nice mix of sweet and salty. She's got a bit of a temper.
And some of her all-time favorite scenes was when Bernie's no BS attitude first started to come out.
When she assisted Howard at a children's birthday party where he was a magician.
But most of all, Melissa remembers the episode where they found an old letter from Howard's father. It showed a more touching aspect of their marriage because they went through this traumatic experience together. I just loved how that was a dual effort of helping them come to Howard's resolution, and him talking it out with her, Rauch shared. Melissa also liked the episodes that featured her favorite guest star. It was none other than Bob Newhart, who played Professor Proton, aka Arthur Jeffries. In real life, he's a well-known stand-up comedian, and Melissa has always been a fan.
Even though I didn't have any scenes with him, just having him on set was so exciting.
The lucky gal, Rauch got to talk to him about stand-up comedy and working with a live audience. And as she said, she'll always cherish that conversation. Now let's move on to Melissa's on-screen husband's best memories, Simon Helberg. Most of all, he loved the storyline about Howard going into space. After all, it was quite unusual for a sitcom. But even more, Simon cherishes the memories of the pilot episode. Everyone was really nervous back then because no one knew what the audience was going to think about the show.
I just will always remember standing outside the door here, just so nervous and so excited.
Soon, The Big Bang Theory became a hit and introduced quite a few well-known guest stars. Helberg's favorite was Stephen Hawking. Quite an obvious choice, right? When he met the legendary scientist on the set, it was hard for Simon to believe that he was actually there. It's those moments that do tend to be larger than life, the actor said. Well, that's easy to understand because the man was an icon. Simon actually did quite a few impressions of Hawking. He even had to do one in front of him on the set, which made him really nervous. After all, he didn't want it to look like he was making fun of the scientist's disability, but it went great.
I did the impression, my heart was beating through my chest, and I stood up and saluted him after in the middle of the scene, and he smiled.
so Simon had all the more reason to love hawking. The next on our list is Howard's BFF, Kunal Nayyar. A romantic guy in real life, the Rauch actor is a huge fan of the emotional stuff.
Universe that comes with putting this together, I'm really gonna miss.
But he also loved the comedic moments. One of his favorite funny scenes on the show was when Rauch talked to Penny for the first time after having a glass of grasshopper. And he even has a favorite season. It's the 6th one. That's when Rauch finally gets over his selected mutism and can talk to women without having something to drink. But that's not the only reason why Kunal loved the season. He also enjoyed how all the other characters grew and their priorities shifted. Previously, it was, let's have a game night, and in season 6, it became, I want a relationship, I want a family. He's right, all the characters changed for the better. But they didn't stop making us laugh, along with the guest stars on the show. Among Kunal's favorites was Kal Penn, first of all because he's also an Indian guy. Nayyar loved watching Penn in Harold and Kumar while he was in grad school, and Penn even inspired him to try acting. He was the only actor of Indian descent at the time who was doing it in a big way, and he gave me a lot of hope, Kunal shared. So these days he considers it an honor to call Kal a friend. Visit our awesome merch shop. We have branded t-shirts, hoodies, eco bags, and even phone cases. You can choose between dozens of unique and awesome designs. Click the link under the video and find your perfect match. And now we're moving on to Mayim Bialik. The most memorable scene for her was Amy and Sheldon's first kiss. Yet it looks like Mayim isn't only a romantic, she's also quite cheeky. Because her other favorite was the spanking scene. You know, when Amy pretended to be sick and Sheldon spanked her when he found out she was lying?
Oh my. Sorry.
Here's the funniest part. Initially, this scene was supposed to happen off camera, and only at the last moment did the writers decide to actually film the spanking. That was really fun and awkward, right in front of the audience, letting it come alive, Mayim shared. And her beloved episode is the one that featured the biggest step in their relationship. It was the opening night excitation, where Amy and Sheldon lose their virginity. Mayim shared that she loved how they made it. We took something so monumental for Sheldon and this relationship and did not have it be a vulgar episode or really even a highly comedic episode, she said. For sure, the cast and crew managed to make it very beautiful. But another wonderful moment between Amy and Sheldon was hard for Mayim to film. It was their wedding, and she found it challenging because it reminded her of the day she got married. And since she was now divorced, it wasn't easy to recall that day. But with the help of the entire crew, she got through it. Apart from the main cast, Mayim loved working with Kevin Susman. They got on well in real life and became good friends. I learned a lot from him as an actor. He does a lot with a little, and he has an understated way of handling things, the actress shared. Now let's see what fond memories her on-screen husband has. Jim Parsons. For the actor, one of the best episodes is the one where Amy gets sick and Sheldon takes care of her. He just loves how brilliantly it was written. The young lady gets exactly what she wants by a young man who's doing it for different reasons. It's really brilliant, Jim said. Parsons also loved the ornithophobia diffusion episode in season 5. It's the one where Sheldon learns to stop being afraid of birds. That was also the very first time Sheldon says I love you on the show. And Amy definitely wasn't impressed.
Guess you gotta have hollow bones to get some sugar around here.
But this sweet scene wasn't the main reason why Jim remembers this episode fondly. It's exceptionally silly. It's exceptionally unlikely, the actor explained. Plus, it was interesting to film scenes with the bird. Since it didn't always do everything according to the script, they had to shoot those parts in segments. And it was a fascinating experience for Jim. What's more, he cherished the romantic scenes between Sheldon and Amy.
A love relationship in the form of Amy that certainly changed my life.
And he also enjoyed filming with Laurie Metcalf and Christine Baranski, who played Leonard's and Sheldon's mothers. When Jim was younger, he admired both actresses, so working with them was a rewarding experience. But there were also some moments in the show Jim didn't really like. First up were the scenes where he had to use a lot of scientific jargon. Since Jim is far from being a scientist in real life, it was hard for him to memorize all those lines.
Their experiment on kaon decay supported our something.
It can't have been easy to memorize all that, yet somehow he managed to do it. Support OSSA by sending a super thanks. Just click on the thanks button under the video and choose an amount to donate. Stay awesome, and remember, we value each one of you. And what are your favorite moments from The Big Bang Theory? Share in the comments below, and don't forget to stay awesome.